I'm striving to do 100 reviews of books that have some relation to our martial arts training in FMK. Now this could actually be books about that have to do with spiritual training. They could have to do directly with the martial arts, and so I've done 3, I believe. So this would be my 4th book review. I recently finished a book by an author named Phil Davison, and the book is entitled White Cranes and Drunken Masters. And I bought this book off of iBooks. I read it on my iPad, and even though it's not a really long book, it's I think maybe 300 pages or so, it took me a very long time to read because the book, in my opinion, was a dud. And at least well, it is a dud in lots of ways. It was written in an ethnographic / travelogue kind of genre. I'm professionally trained in anthropology, and so I read it in one sense as an anthropologist because it was an ethnographic book. The book details the author's travels to Taipei, where he works as an English as second language instructor, while at the same time studying White Crane Kung Fu. And so he writes a lot about the people and the scenarios and things that he encounters, and it's mostly, if you're reading the book for hoping to get something about martial arts from the book, there's really not a lot there, other than what you see is really a daily regimen of training where a group, and what I do like about the training is it occurs outside. That there's a place where the group meets. They don't have a special school or kun or anything like that, or building set up or anything. They have a place near a temple, on the temple grounds actually, where they do their training, kind of like going to a park or something like that order. And they do it every morning, ritually, and some of the people involved in that training are really, really dedicated and are there every day, and a lot of people that are involved are not there every day but show up sporadically, and they train for a couple hours in the morning and then they go about their day. And they're not the only ones out there. There's a group that train Tai Chi before these guys arrive, and then these guys kind of arrive and the Tai Chi people leave, and they kind of take their turn training at that spot. So I liked the outdoor training aspect of it, and I was really, and then there's, throughout the book, there's a lot of humor where the author sees funny things that people are doing, just going about their daily activity. He notices the little nuances of culture and life, and individuals and their personal characteristics and stuff. And so there are some little funny things here and there all the way through the book. But for the most part, it's a poorly written travelogue / ethnography of Taipei that does not get deep into anything in the culture, but just kind of is a glimpse of the surface, much as you'd expect a traveler to be able to get. but not somebody who's really interested in embedding themselves deeply into that culture. That was my opinion. You know, maybe it's this guy's first and only book, and you know, he's just not a great writer. I mean, not everybody is talented in that way. But to me, like, I didn't come away with anything. I didn't come away with anything of any benefit to me from reading that book. I struggled through to finish it so that I could say that I finished it, and I could give an honest review of somebody that had read the whole book. But I would not recommend White Cranes and Drunken Masters. It's mostly an account of the latter part of various drinking parties that this author got himself pulled into. And yeah, there's just really nothing in there, not a whole lot of anything to learn from. There's just very quaint kind of depictions of what's going on. I mean, they're real. I mean, they're really descriptive of what he's seeing, but it's surface. There's no attempt to really understand any of it. And whether the author really did understand deeply into the culture of Taipei, I don't know. I understand from what was written in the back of the book, that he does teach White Crane Kung Fu now to advanced students in his dojo. He normally teaches Japanese martial arts, and then if somebody gets to advanced stages of training, then he'll introduce White Crane Kung Fu. But you know, I don't know what to say about it other than it's not beneficial if you're looking for a book to read that's going to give you any insight into martial arts, nor is it really beneficial if you want to learn about the culture where you know, there's some of these really ancient martial arts still being taught in relatively old ways. There was opportunity there to give some really deep insights and stuff, and for it to be a very interesting read, and I think, in my opinion, the author just dropped the ball. I wouldn't recommend it, but that's just my opinion.